We're coming to you live from right outside Chennai's Apollo Hospital. This is a special broadcast as we await more information on the health situation of Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, J. Jayalalitha. Just a short while ago, a medical bulletin was put out, nearly 20 hours after the Chief Minister underwent a massive cardiac arrest that sent her straight back into the critical care unit right here at the Apollo Hospital. In this second medical bulletin in less than 24 hours, the Apollo Hospital said that Jayalalitha was very critical. Two words that are now reverberating through the cadre of the AIADMK. That statement, just 3 lines of it, are the latest that we categorically know after 72 days of what has largely been speculation over the iconic Chief Minister's health condition. Joining me now is senior journalist T.S. Sudhir, who's one of the few journalists who's actually gained access to Apollo Hospital. He was inside just a short while ago. Sudhir, take us through what you saw, who you spoke to, and what you've learned about what's happened.
Well, I wouldn't be able to reveal who I spoke to as to who gave the information, but just to kind of give you a sense of what the atmosphere inside Apollo Hospitals is, you have a whole lot of security men, you have a whole lot of AIADMK leaders, many of them actually eating their lunch inside the pantry inside. But what we are told is that the Chief Minister collapsed in the presence of a doctor at 5 p.m. yesterday. Immediately CPR was administered, and that was administered for 40 minutes, but her heart was not responding. It was then that they decided to put her on ECMO. So that is very critical, that for 40 minutes quality CPR was given and she did not respond to it. The other element is that since yesterday 5 o'clock till now 1:30, the parameters have been positive in the sense that the lactic acid is kind of under control. There has been no bleeding from any of the vessels, which are positive indications, but there are at least 17 parameters on which she will be judged as to how she is doing. Apollo Hospitals, as you just pointed out in that medical bulletin, maintaining that she remains very critical. She was shifted from the critical care unit to the high dependency ward about 2 weeks back because she was looking good. But as Dr. Richard Beale had actually pointed out, that within the first 90 days, anything could happen.
Yes.
And this is perhaps that anything that he was probably referring to. Just a couple of other things. What doctors are telling us is that her physiological reserve is very low. She is a diabetic patient. She is 68 years old. She suffers from hypertension, and these are all factors which they are taking into account while assessing her. We are told that another surgeon who is an ECMO specialist is likely to come from Delhi, most likely from AIIMS, to also give his opinion, corroborate the line of treatment that Apollo is giving so far.
Absolutely, and I can tell you that there was a great deal of commotion here right after that particular medical bulletin actually came out, and what Sudhir is describing here is the first-hand account of what's going on inside Apollo Hospital right now. I want to cut across now live to Rohini, who's also here at the Apollo Hospital, but from a different vantage point to give you a sense. Rohini, describe for us the scenes from where you are right now. We understand there is some commotion. There is some excitement. A lot of the cameras have rushed to one particular section. Any clarity on what this is about?
Well, let me try and show you what it is, because we have seen a number of actually AIADMK cadres who have arrived here and they were actually hailing the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha and hoping that she would recover soon. As we can see, a barrage of cameras going towards those who were shouting out slogans in her name. But largely these are AIADMK supporters, and we did see just a few minutes ago that they were standing in line in one straight line, hoping to also get a glimpse of all those who are coming. If I can also show you quickly and ask my camera person to take us through the kind of visuals. You can see that every politician who comes here is escorted by the police, and the kind of heavy deployment that we are seeing here. If I can quickly show you at the gates of Apollo Hospital, at the gates of the Apollo Hospital, there are the kind of security personnel as well as the onlookers and people here waiting to get some more updates. The medical bulletin is out, Shiv, but while we are talking about the medical bulletins, we're also looking at how people, especially the cadre, are responding to it. And like we were just discussing about the medical health bulletin, about how the crucial words being that she's very critical and is still on ECMO and life support systems. A few weeks ago, she was very much in this particular situation after her cardiac arrest. It took them almost 2 to to 3 weeks for her to actually bounce back in terms of her health. And we've seen statements coming, Shiv, from the doctors, especially the chairman of Apollo Hospital, saying that she is good to even go home, and that depends upon her to move. But soon after that, we see this cardiac arrest taking, which obviously has, we can say, in clinically, it's a setback for her health as of now. She's being closely monitored with these doctors who are coming in from AIIMS, as well as Richard Beale, who is being flown in from the UK. He has come here before and he has been consulted. Now, what is critical is the line of treatment, one, and second, also how she will respond to it. Like Sudhir was just saying, that she did not respond to those 40 crucial minutes when she was administered CPR. Now, what needs to be seen is the rest of the 24 hours, because this is crucial time, and how she responds to it. Life support system definitely helps her, but her body needs to actually respond to the medication and the kind of system that is. If she doesn't respond, then the doctors will have to see another line of treatment. So these are the kind of things that are being kept in mind, especially the specialist doctors who are coming in here to be a part of the core team.
Absolutely, it's a very anxious time for the cadres here. There's a great deal of excitement. The crowds have suddenly swelled right before our eyes at this point of time. We want to show our viewers how the crowds have suddenly surged. They've suddenly increased. We understand, from your vantage point, Rohini, you showed us a whole bunch of people, emotionally charged, crying, wailing, beating their chests, who suddenly swept into this area. They're very close to us, so there's a chance our viewers will get to see them if they walk this way as well. They're talking to some of the other journalists. But in the meantime, Rohini, and I will just come back to you in a moment, a very interesting thing has just happened, which has added to the confusion and the anxiety that many people here, especially the cadres and the supporters of Jayalalitha, are actually feeling. It all started with Health Minister JP Nadda speaking exclusively to India Today earlier, just a short while ago, where he unexpectedly said that Jayalalitha is out of danger, completely in contradiction to what the medical bulletin of the Apollo Hospital has actually said. First, let's play out for you what India's health minister said a short while ago. So there you have it. That's what JP Nadda, the health minister, as well as several other leaders actually said shortly after they spoke, saying that their information is that Amma is recovering well, she's responding well to treatment, and other such positive words. Came the statement from Apollo Hospital. Broken first here on India Today, the words very critical were actually used. The words very critical were used to describe the condition of the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Completely in contradiction. So on the one hand, you have the Apollo Hospital saying very critical, and on the other hand, you have the Union Health Minister saying out of danger. Two things completely contradicting each other. I want to go back to Rohini, but if we have our correspondent Supriya Bharadwaj with us, who got us some of those conversations. Supriya, this has only added to the huge amount of confusion that already exists over the condition of Jayalalitha. There is one thing being said by Apollo Hospital and another thing being said by the Union Home Minister. Why the confusion? Okay, we don't have Supriya, but if I could put that question to Rohini, who continues to be with me. Rohini, this has only added to the confusion.
Absolutely. See, the point is, one, the Union Health Minister first talks about how her situation is improving and she is out of danger. Now, the point is that every single information that is coming out, be it through the hospital or through any of the people who are the spokespersons of the AIDMK, is being closely monitored by the cadre and also monitored by everybody who wants to know about her health. And any information that is coming, the reaction also would be seen on ground, be it in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, or even in some of the neighboring states. So it is very critical and crucial to see that no confusion is made. Even when the last time the information flow was out and there were a lot of messages that were coming out through social media, we've seen exactly how there was even a statement that was issued by the AIDMK saying people should not indulge in rumour mongering. I'm joined by Dhanya Rajendran, a senior journalist. Dhanya, this whole rumour mongering that we have seen also, even now the Union Health Minister talking about the fact that she was fine, and now we have this statement saying she's very critical. The cadre, how do you think will be responding to this kind of mixed reactions?
They're extremely confused. In fact, if you speak to any of the cadres gathered here, what they're asking is that why is there, positive news in the media, and 2 hours later there's negative news in the media, then you have a positive interview, then you have a negative medical bulletin. So they are equally confused, and that I think is adding to the agitation. See, I understand the reverence which AIDMK leaders have towards J. Jayalalitha, but they are keeping on giving statements that she's stable, that she's under observation, which is quite irresponsible at this time. When the hospital is saying that she's very critical, I think they should be saying that.
Do you think they're trying to quell the kind of emotions that are there so that people do not come onto the streets like we've seen earlier when MGR and Mopanar, when they passed away, that things got out of control?
Well, but that's not happening, right? In the sense that if everyone, including Apollo Hospital, was saying that she is not critical, she's stable, then that's fine. But here you have 10 AIDMK leaders or others saying she's stable, and suddenly there is a press statement saying she has cardiac arrest. There is a next press statement which says she's very critical. So that's confusing the cadre really. If one goes out and talks, and that's what they're asking, what is the actual scene? So they're not able to comprehend what's happening, and as more and more people come in, there are more and more rumors spreading. So the police are definitely having a very tough job at their hands. In fact, this is the only road which is kind of vacant. After this, the Greaves Lane, Mount Road, it's completely full of hundreds and thousands of cadres who have come from districts, have come from various places. So for the police, it's going to be a really tough job now.
It's quite chaotic if you say, you yourself being here, Shiv, you realize how things are slightly under control here because it is around the hospital premises. But once you go out, you actually see and know the kind of emotions that we are being shown by the AIADMK supporters, especially, and also with the kind of top leaders who are coming in and going, and some of them even giving statements on camera. There is a sense of feeling that they want to know more about their Amma, who's right now, as the hospital says, in a very critical condition.
Absolutely, and the excitement and the kind of emotions continues here right outside the Apollo Hospital. Once again, the crowds have surged. These are, new groups of supporters who are continuing to pour in here outside the Apollo Hospital, and you're seeing them chanting slogans, loud prayers for Jayalalitha as well. But another interesting twist that I want to bring to our viewers that's transpired just a short while ago, is really proof that intrigue, allegations of foul play, suspicious activity are never too far behind in the whirlpool of politics and mythology surrounding Jayalalitha. Shashikala Pushpa, the expelled leader of the AIADMK, sitting in Delhi, has spoken to India today and says she smells a rat. She says something is not right, something is fishy afoot, and that Prime Minister Modi should intervene immediately and bring Jayalalitha to Delhi for some kind of treatment, because she believes, or at least she hints, that something is just not right as far as Jayalalitha's treatment is concerned. Here is Shashikala Pushpa, an exclusive conversation with Supriya Bharadwaj.
Nobody can see her. Nobody visited her. Even the national president of BJP and also the Rahul Gandhi ji. Nobody, they went there. They stood at the first floor or something. She was some other floor. They couldn't meet her in person. So what is going on there? There is a secret. Why? So I suspect something may happen to her. So I request the Honorable Prime Minister of India to bring her if she is little cured, she should be brought to the national institution, reputed institution like AIIMS for her treatment, and she should be under the control of the government, not under any private hospital or private body or unconstitutional authorities, because Tamil Nadu, every family is her family. She don't have any family for her, so we are the children of her. We are very
Well, Supriya Bharadwaj joins us live. She's been getting us some of the news-breaking reactions that we've actually gotten, taking this story forward here on India Today as part of our special live coverage from here in Chennai, as well as the political reactions in Delhi. Supriya, very, very interesting conversation you had there with Shashikala Pushpa, even though many of the things need to be seen in the right context, considering she's an expelled AIADMK leader and perhaps has a vested interest in making certain allegations. She has made some pretty serious allegations this time, suggesting there's some kind of foul play, and in fact asking Prime Minister Modi to get Jayalalitha flown to Delhi for treatment.
Well, absolutely, yes, Shiv. We know the history as to how Shashikala Pushpa herself had told the floor of the House in Rajya Sabha as to what was the situation vis-a-vis her dealing with the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha. Now, what we are hearing is that she came out and she said that it is Shashikala Natarajan who's there. She's the aide and the friend of Jayalalitha, and she's the one who has called the meeting of all the MLAs today in Chennai to discuss something. And she's saying that what is the need of calling all the MLAs and what's the need of taking a meeting when Amma is doing pretty well. She even reiterated that she's very much part of AIADMK, so she was trying to clear her position also, but certain serious allegations which are being levelled against the Shashikala Natarajan, who's a friend of Jayalalitha. Now, interestingly, here in Delhi also, Shiv, people are closely monitoring the situation in Chennai. We have seen who's who from across political party lines coming out and wishing speedy recovery to the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha. At the same time, also worried about the law and order situation which is panning out across the state of Tamil Nadu.
Supriya, very quickly, if you can tell me, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi have, both expressed their concerns about Jayalalitha's health. There's no clarity on central leaders, though some are expected to arrive in Chennai today. Are either Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi, have they given any indications of any senior leaders from the Congress or either of them planning to come to Chennai?
Well, as far as Shiv, the central leaders are concerned, we have also heard that a group of ministers might be visiting Chennai to inquire about the health of the ailing chief minister. At the same time, as far as the Congress party is concerned, we are hearing that because last time Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi had gone, at the moment the program has not been finalized, but they are just they have just adopted a wait and watch policy. As the situation is going to pan out, they will decide as to who all will be going to Chennai. But from here in Parliament itself, both Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, as well as we have seen Venkaiah Naidu ji, who's the Union Minister, as well as the Speaker of Lok Sabha, they all have wished speedy recovery to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha.
A very close track of that. Thank you very much, Supriya, for getting us the very latest from Parliament on the central ministers as well as the Congress leadership. It's going to be a wait and watch policy. It's pretty much a wait and watch policy across the board, even right outside here at the Apollo Hospital. We're going to continue to get you the very latest. Thanks for joining us on this particular broadcast, but it's not the end. We're going to continue to be very close to the story and bring you live updates as we get into this short break. We're going to try and get more information and build the story in greater detail as we get you coverage from right outside Apollo Hospital.
First, let's get you the very latest that we are hearing from Chennai. Of course, the latest reports suggest that Jayalalitha, in fact, is still critical. That is the bulletin that has been issued by Apollo Hospital. Yesterday evening, she suffered a cardiac arrest. In fact, the details that we are getting right now is that she suffered a massive cardiac arrest. The good news is that at present, according to sources, her condition is stabilizing somewhat. But what exactly is a cardiac arrest? How does it occur? It happens when the blood flow to the heart stops. ECMO device on which the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister is right now is used as a rescue therapy. During cardiac arrest, it is used as a mechanical heart when conventional CPR fails. The machine drains blood from the vein, adds oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. Now, ECMO warms the blood and returns it to the artery, allowing it to bypass the heart and lungs and flow through the body. So this is what the ECMO machine that you must have heard of a lot since yesterday. That's the machine which is helping, in fact, assisting the blood flow in the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister's body. That is the machine that she's being kept on right now, along with other life support systems. This is what it essentially does. We've got Dr. Ajay Kaul, cardiologist at the BLK Hospital, joining us now on the broadcast. Dr. Kaul, for how long conventionally is a patient kept on heart support, is kept on this ECMO machine till the time he or she recovers and resumes the regular bodily functions?
See, basically you can support the heart for around a week or so, and there are some other devices where we can extend this to around a month. So heart can be supported for quite some time and till the heart recovers, but we have to see what is the basic pathology. That's what they have done angioplasty. Probably she had a coronary artery disease, and that led to this arrhythmia, whatever happened. And then it was, they diagnosed it, they treated it, and now they have kept the patient, Mrs. Jayalalitha, on heart-lung support system so that she recovers back. But as I was listening to this news, it's too early to say all these things that the patient has, she has recovered or she is deteriorating. You know, you've got to give some time, at least 2 to 3 days before we can really decide how her parameters are. Because when the heart arrests or stops, the blood supply suddenly to most of the organs also stops. And then this heart-lung machine or ECMO starts pumping blood as the heart is working and also takes over the function of the lung. And you got to wait for some time till you really understand what is the problem, how she is recovering, what was the damage caused during the arrest period. So all these things have to be assessed properly.
All right. Exactly, if you were to demystify this entire procedure for the viewers, essentially what is happening right now, that till the time the patient is healthy enough, their hearts and lungs are healthy enough to resume the normal functions, it's the machine which is conducting those operations, which is performing those operations for the patient.
Yeah, absolutely. When the heart is not functioning well or the lungs are not functioning well, we put them on these support systems and wait for the organs to recover. Because, you know, during this period, her liver has not got blood supply, kidneys have not got blood supply, even the central nervous system or the brain was devoid of blood supply for a very short period till they conducted the CPR and other things. And then they have put the patient on ECMO. Now, it will take some time for organs to recover back to normal. Sometimes when a patient arrives in intensive care, suppose a patient has crashed somewhere, has a massive heart attack, we shift the patient to the hospital and put them on ECMO or other life support system. We have to wait for at least 48, 72 hours to understand what is the amount of damage to other organs. And then only we can say that whether she is going to recover from this or not, because otherwise it's very difficult to say. Because these organs have been, there has been some amount of hypoxia. Hypoxia means lack of oxygen for some time. So it needs to be looked into properly, and we can't take these hasty decisions that she has recovered or she has not recovered.
No, absolutely not. In fact, we're just going to stick with what the hospital has said right now. It is that she is on ECMO, other life support devices, and the words that they've used, quote unquote, is that she is very critical. Just stay with me, Dr. Kaul, because I also want to bring in my colleagues, Shiv Arur and Rohini Swami, who in fact are right outside the Apollo Hospital. And Rohini, in fact, T.S. Sudhir has also accessed details of exactly what happened yesterday evening when there was this sudden announcement from Apollo Hospital just minutes after they had declared that Jayalalitha is in fact recovering. What exactly happened?
Well, around 4 o'clock we did see one medical bulletin that had come out saying that she was doing well, and at 5 o'clock she did undergo a cardiac arrest. And I'm joined by T.S. Sudhir. Sudhir, what are the details in terms of how did that happen? Because one is the cardiac arrest is important in terms of seeing how her health has possibly deteriorated, but at the same time, what are the other details that you're picking up from inside, from your sources?
Well, what we are told is that the cardiac arrested, she suffered the cardiac arrest in the presence of her doctor. The doctor was with her at 5 o'clock when she suffered this massive cardiac arrest. Immediately CPR was administered for a period of about 40 minutes. When she did not respond to it and when the parameters were not really going positive, that's when they decided to put her on ECMO. Now with ECMO, the deal is that there are about 17 parameters on which they actually check the patient. In this particular case, a couple of parameters are actually showing positive signs. For instance, there is no bleeding from any of the vessels leading to the heart. That's a very positive sign. Her lactic acid level, though not normal, has come down significantly from about 20 to about 6. 2 is the normal for a human being. So that's again a positive sign. So they are going to wait till about 5 p.m. That's when the 24-hour period will go. 24-hour period and the 48-hour period are critical. So at 24-hour period is when they will decide what her situation is, by which time probably some more doctors will come today. They are planning to put out a medical bulletin, a detailed medical bulletin at around 8 o'clock this evening. What we're also told is that there will be a neurological assessment which will be done as to whether any other kind of damage has been done and how she is, because if the neurological assessment turns out to be positive, that means there is a good case to continue with the ECMO and support the heart. So that's the call which will be taken post 5 o'clock today, and then the 48-hour period is going to be critical. So between now and tomorrow evening 5 o'clock is going to be extremely critical. But Apollo Hospitals, as they put out in their medical bulletin, maintaining that she continues to be in an extremely critical state.
But the 40 minutes after when she suffered the cardiac arrest, they did try to revive her, and that was very difficult because she did not respond.
She did not respond. In fact, what I'm told by my sources inside is that the doctors saw the parameters falling completely flat, and obviously that must have led to panic. But obviously, seasoned doctors, they know. Even Dr. Richard Beale had pointed out that patients of acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, can collapse within 90 days. And perhaps this is what he was referring to. She completely collapsed in the presence of the doctor, which is why CPR was administered. When that did not achieve the desired results, that's when she was shifted to ECMO. Now, ECMO again is something which is very dicey. You know, you cannot continuously put someone on ECMO, and that's what we are told by my sources inside, that they are not going to prolong this for too long. They are going to see and check whether ECMO, whether the heart, even 10%, is able to sustain itself.
As of now, the heart is unable to sustain on its own.
As of now, no. But if they will take a call post 5 o'clock, if it's able to sustain, even if there's a 10% chance that it's able to sustain, they will go for a periodical weaning away post a neurological assessment.
And that is the kind of weaning away we did see, Padmaja, where they were also issuing statements from the hospital in terms of how she was being able to breathe on her own and she was being able to stay out of the ventilator for at least a few minutes. But let me also quickly bring in what Mr. Waiko, the MDMK leader, had said to my colleague Revati Rajivan, and he's given a statement saying she was recovering well, particularly when she came out of sepsis, and that is a very serious illness. She was responding to the treatment. I did talk to the doctor, Richard Beale, but she was responding well, he said. That's why she was shifted to the ICU. Yesterday, sadly, when the news came in that she suffered from cardiac arrest, I feel she's a strong lady. She will bounce back. She will not bow to any pressure on earth, and I can quote so many examples. And that's MDMK leader Waiko coming on record with our colleague Revati Rajivan on what he has in terms of reaction to the latest development in Jayalalitha's health.
And in fact, that really is a sentiment which is echoed by not just the